Royal events Archie and Lilibet will probably never attend. Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, and Prince Harry haven't had the easiest love story. Since they tied the knot in 2018, it's been a bumpy ride full of press lawsuits, family feuds, one very sensational book, and a tell-all interview with Oprah. Throughout it all, the couple has remained united, and they welcomed 2 children. Archie and Lilibet Mountbatten-Windsor. Their decision to move to the United States means the British public doesn't see much of the 2 young royals. While the kids are still part of one of the most famous lineages in the world, they don't have titles, much like Princess Anne's children, Zara Tindall and Peter Phillips. They're also largely kept out of the spotlight, with Meghan and Harry doing their best to give their children a private, normal life away from the prying eyes of the press. As a result of this desire and the tensions between Meghan, Harry, and the wider royal family, Archie and Lilibet don't have much of a relationship with their royal relatives. Even their grandfather, King Charles III, has only met them a few times. While other royals will continue to appear at public events to much fanfare and excitement, it's unlikely we'll ever see the Sussex kids there. Let's take a look at which royal spectacles they'll likely miss out on. Trooping the Colour. Trooping the Colour is one of the most important events in the royal calendar. The event takes place outside Buckingham Palace in London, and is specially curated to celebrate the birthday of the reigning monarch. There are plenty of rules royals have to follow at Trooping the Colour, but it's usually the outfits that get the most attention. To say it's a spectacle would be an understatement. More than 1,400 soldiers are part of the parade, as well as 200 horses and 400 musicians. The British public and tourists alike take to the streets lined with flags, but one of the highlights comes at the very end of the ceremony, when the raft does a fly past over Buckingham Palace. The entire royal family, both senior members and extended, takes to the palace balcony to wave to the crowds and watch the jets. It's a great excuse for the entire Windsor line to get together and present a united front. Still, to date, neither Lilibet nor Archie Mountbatten-Windsor have ever appeared. Though fans might hope for better times, it's unlikely to happen. Prominent royal and high society weddings. The best royal weddings in history blow average weddings out of the water, but that's not to say that high society weddings can't be just as interesting. Royals are usually fixtures at the weddings of certain lords and ladies because aristocracy typically runs in the same circles, and has been known to go to the same schools. Take, for instance, the wedding of Hugh Grosvenor, Duke of Westminster, and Olivia Henson in June 2024. Prince William was said to have a special role in the nuptials as he and Grosvenor have been pals for years, but he also has a special connection to Prince Harry. The Duke and Harry are so close that Grosvenor is the godfather of Harry's son, Archie Mountbatten-Windsor. Though you might think this link would mean that Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, Harry, Lilibet, and Archie would be prominent guests at the wedding. It wasn't meant to be. Harry was reportedly invited but decided to decline. Some speculate it's so that he wouldn't cross paths with William and to keep drama away from the big day. But the sad thing is that Archie and Lilibet missed out as a result. It's likely not the only big wedding they'll miss out on, either. Remembrance Day. It's a sad fact that every country has different ceremonies that commemorate the casualties of war. In an ideal world, there would be no casualties to honor. But life doesn't work that way. For Britain, November's Remembrance Day is especially important. Royals turn out in their best black outfits for the day to pay their respects to fallen heroes. Held at the Cenotaph in London, the monarch usually leads the country in a minute's silence while the rest of the royals watch on with the crowds that gather. Various members of the House of Windsor have attended over the years, from the senior royals who are always a fixture to Princess Eugenie and Princess Beatrice. Though it's an important day in the calendar not just for royals but for the British public. The chances of seeing Archie and Lilibet Mountbatten Windsor standing alongside their family are slim to none. Considering just how important and solemn of an event this particular royal tradition is, it's a little sad that Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, and Prince Harry won't share it with their kids. It would be a great way for them to feel connected to their British ancestors. Order of the Garter. Kate Middleton's Order of the Garter ensembles are always a sight for sore eyes when this annual event comes around. Because she always looks bright and glamorous. While fashion is one thing, that's not all the event is good for. Though the name might sound confusing, this celebration is one of the most important dates in the royal calendar. Each year, the monarch makes their way through the grounds of Windsor Castle, accompanied by a procession, and heads to St. George's Chapel to bestow honor on selected people. Interestingly, the entire thing was dreamt up by King Edward III in the medieval era, as he took a liking to the story of King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table. He decided he wanted to have a way to make his own knights and created the Order of the Garter. It has somewhat evolved as the centuries have rolled by, and now the Knights of the Garter are handpicked by the monarch. This is yet another joyous occasion for the royal family that Archie and Lilibet Mountbatten Windsor won't attend unless rifts can be mended. At the moment, it seems unlikely, but no one knows what the future holds. Royal Ascot. Royal Ascot is a popular racing event for the royal family and horse racing fanatics alike. The royals always push the boat out for the event, breaking out their most elaborate hats, frocks, and suits. There have been many outfits deemed the best Royal Ascot looks, and each year, it just seems to get better and better. The photographs from the day always show the family laughing together while watching the festivities unfold from the royal enclosure. The late Queen Elizabeth II was a huge fan of the event, and it's not uncommon for more distant members of the royal family to be pictured with the higher-ups chatting away. Even Prince Harry and Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, attended in 2018, happily smiling arm in arm. Again, this is a family event that Archie and Lilibet Mountbatten Windsor will likely miss out on, at least in their younger years. However, it's not often that royal kids are spotted at Royal Ascot anyway. That being said, when they become adults, they may wish to go and see what all the fuss is about in their father's home country. Not to mention they may want to experience the thrill of the chase. Horse racing is a sport largely loved by the British, especially the aristocracy, who tend to own, breed, or train horses at country estates. The Easter Mass at St. George's Chapel. Religious holidays are particularly important to the Crown. with the monarch responsible for upholding the Church of England. For many years before him, King Charles III's mother, Queen Elizabeth II, led the royals in attending the annual Easter Mass at St. George's Chapel in Windsor. The church service is so important that Charles made sure he was there to wave to onlookers and the press amid his cancer treatment in 2024. Though Catherine, Princess of Wales, was notably absent from her duties due to her own illness, many members of the royal family typically attend, dressed in formal day wear, and a large crowd gathers to catch a glimpse of the noble family as they head inside the church. Perhaps the most significant and touching part is the bouquet of flowers Elizabeth, and now Queen Camilla, is presented with by local children. After the service, as the son of Charles, Prince Harry was once a staple at this event, sitting beside Prince William as the day unfolded. Before heading back to Windsor Castle with the family, perhaps to exchange gifts or simply enjoy the rest of the holiday together. Sadly, as of 2024, Harry hasn't attended an Easter service for 5 years. Interestingly, Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, was heavily pregnant during his last appearance and decided to stay at home. Needless to say, Archie and Lilibet Mountbatten Windsor probably won't partake in this family tradition as they remain stateside. Christmas at Sandringham. Everyone knows that Christmas is a big holiday in the United States, so there's no doubt that Archie and Lilibet Mountbatten Windsor have their own family traditions by now. That being said, their relatives in the UK have their own, too, which is a long-established part of British history. Every year, the royals famously gather at Sandringham House in Norfolk to spend the holidays together and ring in the new year. In the past, Queen Elizabeth II ran the show alongside her husband, Prince Philip, and upon the Queen's death, it fell to King Charles III. All of the mainstays are in attendance, including Prince William, Catherine, Princess of Wales, their children, and Charles' siblings and their kids, to name just a few. In 2023, Charles even invited Sarah, Duchess of York, to enjoy the festivities at Sandringham, though she hadn't appeared since her split from Prince Andrew many years ago. While the royals enjoyed plenty of the festivities behind closed doors, their big public outing comes on Christmas Day when they all walk to St. Mary Magdalene for a service. The public looks forward to this sighting of the royals in their winter clothes together as a family, participating in this nice wholesome Christmas Day activity. It's hard to believe that Prince Harry was once there each year, without fail. The Royal Variety Performance. Many of the events royals attend are so that the public can see them doing what they do best. However, once a year, they get to enjoy some entertainment, too. The Royal Variety Performance debuted in its current form in 1919 before being televised for the first time in 1960. These days, it's just as much of a TV event as it is a royal endeavor. The royals descend on the Royal Albert Hall in London for an evening of entertainment, ranging from comedy skits to music performances. Of course, who attends has changed quite a lot over the years, as there was a time when Princess Diana and her then husband, King Charles III, were the guests of honor. Prince Harry has attended many times over the years, often laughing along to the festivities. Sadly, it looks like those days are long over. If they're over for him, Archie and Lilibet Mountbatten Windsor probably won't ever take a seat in the royal box. There are undoubtedly many members of the public who would love to see a family reunion on their screens, but it likely won't happen in this way. Archie and Lilibet simply aren't integrated enough into the family to get an invitation, let alone make an appearance. Buckingham Palace Garden Parties. How many people actually live in Buckingham Palace is up for debate, but the palace, though enclosed behind gates and walls, isn't always closed off to the public. King Charles III's official home has stunning grounds and gardens open several times a year throughout the warmer months for garden parties. Queen Elizabeth II, pictured above with TV character Postman Pat, often welcomed visitors into her home for different reasons. The parties can either be in honor of certain people or be in celebration of something exciting. And multiple royals have been in attendance throughout the decades. Over 30,000 people are invited to different soirees in the palace gardens every year. The royal family website explains, garden parties are an important way for members of the royal family to speak to a broad range of people from all walks of life, all of whom have made a positive impact in their community. But it begs the question, will Archie and Lilibet Mountbatten Windsor ever get to experience it? Probably not, though one hopes that they may be able to visit their grandparents there at some point in the coming years. Even if it is behind closed doors and not in public view. After all, it is their birthright. Even though they will never inherit Buckingham Palace, they do have the option to enjoy it and the other properties owned by the Crown, if only fences can be mended. If their parents can find a way to move forward with the Windsors, the world would be Archie and Lilibet's oyster.